Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Last episode was nice and short, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. This one's going to be just a bit longer, and I apologize in advance. So let's just jump right in, a lot to talk about. First up, movie review. I went and saw The Eternals. And I saw it in 3D, of course. I actually, when I was looking up to see which AMCs it was playing at in 3D, there were actually a couple of options. And surprisingly, at the 42nd Street Theater, where I usually go, big theater there, they actually were showing it in Prime 3D, which is like their fancy Prime theater with the recliners and everything. And I was like, ooh, that could be nice, because it's probably a better projector and a brighter screen and everything, so it might be a better 3D experience. However, the Prime theater, almost a week in advance, was practically full. So I was like, okay, no. Because I'm still not at that place where I want people sitting directly next to me in the movies. I like to be able to sit away from people. So I went with the regular 3D theater, which is humongous. And then when I sat down, I like to check the app just to see who else is sitting around me, because there was like a couple people over here. There's a father and his daughter at the edge of the aisle. And I saw on the app that the 3 seats next to me were all sold. And I was like, I mean, these are the best seats because it's right in the center and it's a good distance from the screen and all. And I was like, I thought about moving over a seat just to put one seat at least in between me and them. But then I realized that the entire row, every row before us, because we were like in the 4th row or 5th row or something, I was like, I can just go into the next row up and then I don't have anybody next to me. I'll have people behind me, but that's fine. I mean, it's not great, because nobody wears masks in the movie theaters, it seems. They're all eating their candy and popcorn and sodas. So people tend not to wear masks in the movie theater, which is not great, but they're supposed to be vaccinated, so I hope it's alright. Anyway, it turned out that where I sat was kind of perfect, because it was like dead center, the screen filled my entire field of vision, and it was a spectacular visual experience. And I did enjoy the movie too. Not just for the 3D effects, which were great, by the way. I actually liked it. It was a kind of a different Marvel movie. It still had the formulaic, wisecracks and whatever, and it was all like, okay. And of course there's the end credit sequence that's gonna, tease you for another Marvel movie. But I will say that I appreciated that this one kind of stands on its own. Because Shang-Chi still had like references and characters from previous Marvel movies that were like showing up in it. And I'm like, okay, like, this one was basically just, everything was new. They talked about the Avengers and Thanos, but all the characters, everyone you see, it's all new characters, and I appreciated that because we need to explore new corners of the Marvel Universe. I appreciated also that the script had some different twists and turns. Like, things happened that I was like not expecting, and I was sort of like, oh my, that was a surprise. And it took me by, it's something different. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, this wasn't predictable. Like, stuff happened. I would have liked it to have been just a bit more cosmic. There's a few cosmic scenes, and then of course the ending is like, what? And it makes no logical sense. You have to remember, this is a comic book, because this would have destroyed the planet. But whatever. It's a comic. But I did like it, and I would hope that maybe if they get a sequel, that it can be really super cosmic and crazy, and go all Kirby, As for games, obviously I want to talk about the Animal Crossing update that just happened. I will say, I have not bought the DLC yet. No Happy Home Paradise for me yet. I haven't even bought it, let alone downloaded it. So, because the regular update, there's enough for me to do that I'm not like, oh, okay, I need this other thing to do now. So that's probably going to wait at least another couple of weeks, maybe. Because I'm just doing the regular update. Obviously, the first thing I wanted to do was to get the cafe, but the problem is that, of course, it's not just going to open a cafe magically. You have to go and find Brewster and bring him to the island. And to do that, you have to go sail on Captain's boat to a random island where you will find him. And oh my god, I forgot how much I had missed Cap'n. Having, like, just riding in his boat and hearing his little sea shanty songs, I love it so much. It's so much more fun than flying in the plane. Sorry, Dodo Airlines. But, the islands also have, you know, your gyroid fragments, and then you can plant those, and then you get gyroids. And some of the islands have, like, different stuff. Like, I found some glowing moss and some vines that you can attach to your cliff and climb up them. I also found some potatoes, so that's good. Because, you know, there's cooking now. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. First, Brewster. The problem, I made a big mistake, is that I talked to Brewster, and I was like, come to my island and open your cafe. And as soon as I got back to my island, I was like, okay, we're done for the day. And I hit save. The next day, I go to the museum to have my fossils assessed, and Blathers is all like, hey, did you talk to Brewster? And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what he said. And he's like, okay, great, then we're going to open up a cafe. So the museum will be closed tomorrow while we open the cafe. And I was like, dang it. I should have gone straight to Blathers to report, and then I wouldn't have had to wait an extra day before the cafe opened. I could have had it on Saturday and not Sunday, but oh well. I mean, everyone else had it already probably on Friday, because they all started on Thursday, because it released early. I didn't care about downloading it early, because it happened like in the evening, and I'm just like, it was like 10 o'clock or something, and I was like, I'm gonna go to bed, you know? Like, I'm not gonna play Animal Crossing all night long. It's just an update. I could wait till tomorrow. It's fine. Because they did surprise everybody by releasing it early. The DLC still came out on Friday, I guess, but I don't know, because I haven't gotten it yet. Still resisting for the time being. I did also, like I said, I got some cooking. I got the new recipe app so that you can now craft food as well as furniture, and that's fine. It doesn't really serve a point. Like, you can eat it, like, with the fruit, and then you can get up to 10, and then you can, like, dig up trees and stuff, but, like, nobody's been like, oh, hey, can you cook me this, or something? So, it's just sort of a fun little thing to do, and I have enjoyed, like, collecting ingredients, and I've got stuff with potatoes, trying to grow potatoes on my island now, and then I need to find wheat, because there's a bunch of recipes, and you need wheat. I don't have that yet. I went to an island today, and it didn't have wheat. You can only go to one island today, which is kind of rude. Cap'n will only sail you once. It's a bit rude. And I won't time travel, so no. Oh, and I did get the upgraded photo app, so that you can now do first-person photography, and it is kind of cool, because you can kind of move through the game in first person. It's like first-person Animal Crossing, except you can't turn. So you can only go, like, forward and side to side. You can just strafe and move forward and back. You can't actually turn, because it's Animal Crossing and there's no backs to anything, so you can't actually go around behind things. That would ruin the illusion. But, yeah, there's so much to do, and I'm in no hurry. Like, I'm sort of trying a little of this, and trying a little of that, and then doing this. I went to Harv's Island. I didn't even go to Harv's Island right away, where you can, like, donate bells to, like, open up the little co-ops and get, like, a red stand and Katrina, the fortune teller and stuff. Like, I'm gonna take my time, because there's no, I mean, I could, well, actually, no, you can't, because I paid one off, and then I went to another gyroid, and he's like, sorry, we're not taking any more donations today, and I was like, interesting. So they are forcing you to wait. You couldn't pay off all of them and open Harv's Island in its entirety in one day. Even though I have enough bells to do it, it's going to take a while. So, like, whatever. I don't mind. You're meant to play Animal Crossing a little bit at a time. Which is why it's funny to me, because I play Animal Crossing literally every day, but only for, like, you know, 20, 30 minutes. So I checked my log, and I'm at, like, 350 hours or something, and, like, I have friends who've been playing it for over 1,000 hours. And I'm like, what are you doing all this time? I mean, I guess they're, like, crafting and designing clothes and, like, you know, terraforming and, like, all that sort of thing. And I'm sure once I get the Happy Home Paradise DLC, and I can design more interior types, then I'll probably spend some more time decorating. But the decorating's never been like my focal point of Animal Crossing. I like just playing around and having the interaction with the people, so we'll see what happens. Also, in gaming, I did finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I did not realize, but I basically finished it last week. Because I wrapped up the Asgard side quest, and that was basically it. And I'm not going to do the river raids because I don't care about the river raids. So I only had that one other side quest that was like the legendary weapon of the gods or whatever it's called. So I go to the old woman, and she's all like, set me up a house. I said, okay, here you go. And then I said, what's going on? And she's like, okay, fight me. And we had this like crazy magical fight on like the astral plane or something. And then she's like, okay, so here's the deal. See the shrine? There's shrines all over England. When you see one of these shrines, meditate in front of it, and you'll have an astral plane battle, and depending on how well you do in your battle, you'll gain points for certain things, and then you can take those points and come back to me, and I'll exchange those points for weapons. And I'm just like, oh, this isn't like a story quest, this is just a challenge thing. And I'm just like, that's not interesting to me. Like, I wanted like a story. Like the Asgard, I was willing to follow through because there was a story going on there. But this is just like busy work, fighting challenges, and I'm just like, nope, not interested at all. So I said, okay, we're done with Assassin's Creed Valhalla then. So yay, I can move on to play another game. I would like to do the Discovery Tour at some point, but I feel like I've spent enough time in that particular world, and I would like to explore a different world. Unfortunately, the world that I wanted to explore, the world of A Plague Tale: Innocence, it wasn't in my library to download. And I was like, but I totally added that to me when it was the PS Plus free game. But it turns out it was a PlayStation 5 PS Plus game. And while there have been games in PS Plus that have been available for PS4 and 5, this one was in fact only available for PS5. So I can't play it on my PS4. I can't play it until I get a PS5. And who knows when that might be? Never. I do appreciate that they're at least letting me add PS5 games to my library so that like maybe like in a year or two when I do actually manage to find a PS5 to purchase, I'll have a library of games that I can play already. But since that was a no-go, I was reminded in scrolling through my games that I have had The Last of Us Remastered in there for quite some time. So I decided to give that a go. And it's been a bit of an adjustment, going from the, open world of Assassin's Creed to the Naughty Dog linear go from point A to point B in this area, and then there's another area and another point A to point B. That's it. It's just very linear. But it's also very cinematic, and the opening is just fantastic. And I can totally see why somebody wants to turn this into a TV show, because I'm like, yes, this would be a good TV show. But it's very dramatic. I have been getting a little distracted with the photo mode. I'm constantly taking photos of Joel because he is extremely photogenic. But, so far, so good. It's a little bit more stealth than I was expecting. It's not like Uncharted. I mean, the game is like Uncharted. It's structured where the going from point A to point B and fighting the enemies and getting around and collecting things along the way. There it's very much like Uncharted, but this is much more stealth as opposed to just running and gunning your way through it. And I have been having a little trouble adjusting to the stealth because it doesn't play the same way as Assassin's Creed stealth. And I'm trying to throw bricks and bottles to distract them, but they don't quite go where I want them to go, and I'm like, and then they see me and then forget it. But I've had to redo, there was one section I had to redo over a half a dozen times because I just kept dying and it was getting a little frustrating. Then there was another section where I died a few times, but finally managed to get through. Because I decided to stop trying to stop and fight and just try to force my way to the end. Because my companions will follow me and they'll be okay. As long as I make it to the end, they do too. So I just sort of use that. But it is a little distracting because we'll need to get to point B and they're like, come over here, Joel. And I'm just like, sorry, I have to go look over here and see if there's supplies or whatever because I just need to check around things. And they have to wait. Sorry, they just have to wait. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'm hoping the difficulty doesn't spike too much, and that I'm able to keep up with it, and level up and get better weapons and stuff so that I can stay with it, and it doesn't get to become too hard, because I'm not sure if I can switch the difficulty down mid-game. But I guess we'll find out. So I will see you back here next episode for more The Last of Us thoughts, and probably some more thoughts on additional Animal Crossing update things. Maybe I'll get the DLC by then, probably not. I don't think so, because there's a lot to do already. And maybe I'll see another movie, I don't know. That's enough for this episode. Bye-bye.